guys, welcome back to my channel and happy Monday. For those who don't know me, my name is Kristen Martin. I'm an international Amazon best-selling author, a writing and business success coach, a YouTuber, a podcaster, and essentially when you put all of that together, I am what you would call a creative entrepreneur. Welcome, I'm so happy to have you here today. I'm really excited to bring you this video. It has been a while since I've done one of these, but I wanted to go ahead and create another episode of Habits for the Productive Writer. So this is episode 3. I will leave the other 2 episodes in the description box below, so make sure you check those out. Before we get into today's video, I wanted to let you know that I am reopening my NaNoWriMo course, specifically for Camp NaNoWriMo, which is taking place next month in April. So if you are planning on participating in Camp NaNoWriMo and you want a little more guidance, you want a workbook to work through, you want some pep talk videos, and you're looking for a sort of roadmap to help you get 50,000 words down in 30 days, then definitely make sure to check out this course. You can find the link in the description box below or go to kristenmartinbooks.com/conquering-camp NaNoWriMo. This course is valued at $200, but you can get it for half off this week only for just $97. So again, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. So today's habit has a lot to do with overcoming distractions, but really overcoming distractions when it comes to having multiple project ideas and when you're kind of, ping-ponging around trying to figure out which project you want to work on, or maybe you're really dedicated to one, but then you think of a new idea. Or I've done videos on this in the past, I call it multiple project syndrome, where you have the shiny new idea, or you just can't seem to sit down and really focus on just one. So something I noticed over the past month was that I just had so many different project ideas, and that's exactly what I was doing. I was ping-ponging around and I couldn't quite just focus on one, or as soon as I would focus on one, I'd want to switch gears and move over to a different project, and it was causing my productivity to really suffer a lot. So today I want to share with you some tips and some things that I did to kind of overcome that. No matter what, multiple project syndrome is going to be a thing. I think it's great when we have a bunch of ideas, but it's actually making sure that we are focusing on one long enough to see it through to the end. And this could be the case with book projects. It could be the case with other creative projects, or maybe, courses, programs, whatever it is that you are working on. You may, it could even be home projects and things like that, where you start working on something in your house and then you just stop because you get distracted and go do something else. So I really do feel like these tips can apply to any area of your life, not necessarily just writing. But I do think this is very, very helpful for writers when you have multiple book projects. So like I said, as I was flipping back and forth between projects, I found myself feeling really scattered. I would make some headway on one project, but because I would switch gears, I would almost lose that headway and that progress and all that work that I had done on that first project, because in working on another one, when I eventually came back to the first project, I had to re-familiarize myself with everything that was going on. So it's kind of like that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's just kind of doing that dance with your projects. And I found over the past month in February, this is something I was really struggling with. And I was so excited about all of the ideas that I had that I wanted to work on all of them at once. And this is really like putting too much on your plate, biting off way more than you can chew, and recognizing that that's what's happening. And it's good to be passionate and excited about the projects that you have going on. But I don't believe in multitasking. I believe in something called rapid toggling. There's actually a lot of research backing this up, that you can't actually do 2 things at once. Your brain simply just does not allow it. And if you try to multitask, you're really going to, excuse my language, half-ass both the things or all the things that you're working on. So it's best to really just stay focused on one project, see it through to the end, get it done, and then move on to the next project. And for some people like me, that may seem really monotonous. So I kind of found my own project flow and my way of working on something enough to make enough headway, where then I could switch over to another project briefly and work on that, and then come back to the other one and not feel so like, oh my gosh, now I need to catch up on this, where was I kind of mindset. So I just wanted to share some of my tips and advice in case this is something that you also struggle with, or it's something that you're currently going through. The biggest thing that has helped me when it comes to multiple project syndrome is batching. And I've talked a little bit about batching in the past in my planning videos. I will link those down in the description box below as well. And in those videos, I talk about how I batch certain tasks for certain days. I've actually taken this a step further. So, okay, real quick, what I mean by that, when I'm batching things on certain days, you know, maybe like Monday is content creation day, where all I'm doing is just creating content. I'm not editing, I'm not answering emails, I'm not doing any admin stuff. It's all the creation aspect, you know, so I would block off Monday for just that. And maybe Tuesday would be more of, you know, for client calls and administrative stuff, answering emails, you know, maybe that's what Tuesday would look like. And then Wednesday could be just a full-on editing day, whether it's editing videos or editing, you know, my book. I could have a full day for writing. So there's all different kinds of way that you can batch your, you know, batch your tasks, as long as they're like tasks in your days throughout your week. But what I've done recently is taken this a step further and started batching whole weeks, and I'm actually thinking about maybe even batching like a whole month for certain projects, depending on how big that project is. So in having my batching system for each day, I did find that when I was creating content, that could mean a lot of different things. So filming a video is creating content, but so is writing a chapter in my book. And those are still two very different parts of my brain, because one of them is more of an introverted side of me, which is the writing side, where I can just sit there and I can be in my pajamas and whatever and just write. But here on YouTube, when I am creating videos, you know, I need to have what I'm gonna say ready to go. I feel like I wanna make sure I look presentable and that I have more of that extroverted side coming out, so that it's a more engaging and a more interactive video. So what I've started doing is actually batching entire weeks where I am dedicating one whole week to a certain project. And I found that as I've been doing this, it has made my scatter, you know, the scatterbrain that's been going on lately, that has lessened a lot, which is what I really, really needed, because I hated waking up one day and working on one thing and then, you know, jumping to another thing the next day and then coming back to the other project the next day. So while I like things to be different, I don't want to feel like, again, I keep using ping ponging, but that's the best way I can describe it, where you're just back and forth, back and forth. I don't like flip-flopping that much. So I told myself I need to have a little bit more discipline and just dedicate an entire week to one project only. But then of course you may look at your projects and think to yourself, but how do I know which one to work on first? Like these are both, you know, of equal value to me. I'm excited about both of them. How do I pick which one to work on first? And this is where my first tip comes in, which is to know your deadlines for each project. If you don't have deadlines set, that's the first thing you need to do. Set your deadlines for your projects. When you have deadlines, then you know what project to prioritize first, and it's going to be the one that has the first upcoming deadline. My second tip, once you have set your deadlines and you have prioritized which projects you need to work on first, is to block out ample time. And what I mean by this is make sure you give yourself enough time to work on the project and truly give it your all. So for instance, if you're guessing that it's going to take you 3 weeks to finish a certain project or to write, you know, X amount of words or however many chapters in your book, maybe go ahead and throw another week on there just in case something goes wrong or an emergency pops up, or you just need that time to kind of transition from one project to the next project. And then my third tip is to find a project flow that works best for you. So unlike me, you may be a ping pong master, where one day you can work on one thing and the next day you can work on another and the next day another, and then you can go back to the first thing. You may be really great at that and you don't feel scatterbrained and that process works for you. That is wonderful. But if you're like me and that doesn't work for you, then it's important to take a little time to figure out what your project flow should look like and what actually does work for you. You may be someone who likes to work on one project for 3 days straight and then switch to another project for the next 3 days and then go back to the first project for the next 3 days. Or maybe you're someone who likes to work in week chunks. That's kind of the category that I've fallen into with a lot of the projects I've been working on lately. Again, it depends on the deadlines and also how long it actually takes you to get some of these projects done. But I found that working on one project for 1 week, so just dedicating 1 week to one project only, has really worked for me, and it's really benefited me in terms of my productivity. You may find that you need 2 whole weeks to work on one project and just dedicate yourself to that, or a whole month, or a whole 2 months. Whatever it is, take some time to figure out what project flow works best for you. The main point I'm trying to make when it comes to multiple project syndrome is that you need to have some sort of plan. If you don't have a plan, you're going to be aimless, you're going to feel scatterbrained, and most likely that book is never going to get written and that project is never going to be finished. So make a plan, set your deadline so you know which projects to prioritize first, allow yourself ample time to complete those projects, and then find a project flow or a batching flow that works best for you. So that is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up to support my channel. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that little bell that will send you email notifications to your inbox whenever I upload new videos. If you want access to even more content, make sure you check out my Patreon page. You can find the link in the description box below. If you're planning on participating in Camp NaNoWriMo, make sure to check out my self-study course, Conquering Camp NaNoWriMo. You can find the link in the description box below. I want to thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you, and I will see you in next week's video.